Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Hi guys, and welcome to another Fool of the Week. This week's Fool is Patrick Christy from GB News, who doesn't understand how foreign aid works. Now, the Tories unfortunately have been using the aid budget as a political tool at home, when it's normally used as a political tool abroad, for good or for ill. But a bit of context here. The Indian Space Agency has just celebrated landing a craft on the moon. This is an amazing feat, much to the ire of right-wingers in Britain. Why? Because allegedly it cost $75 million. But Patrick here wants the £2.3 billion in aid from 2016 to 2021 back. Have a listen.
I would like to congratulate India on landing on the dark side of the moon. I would also like to now invite India to return the £2.3 billion foreign aid money that we sent them between 2016 and 2021. We're also set to give them £57 million next year. But I think the British taxpayer should keep hold of that, don't you? We should not be giving money to countries with a space programme. As a rule, if you can afford to fire a rocket at the dark side of the moon, you shouldn't be coming to us with your hand out. India reportedly has 229 million people living in poverty. According to the UN, it's the highest number anywhere in the world. It's also the fifth largest economy in the world, with an annual GDP of around $3.75 trillion. Why are we paying to help poverty-stricken Indians when their own government won't bother? And while we're at it, we give China around £48 million back in 2022, down from the cool 82 million quid we gave them the year before. China is the second largest economy in the world, and the moon appears to be a theme in foreign aid, because China, which also has a space programme, was looking at creating a giant fake moon to hover over crops at night, brightening the sky and boosting crop production. If you're doing stuff like that, you don't need foreign aid.
Oh, God. All right. What's terrible about all of this is how the right-wing media will take something complex and simplify it to not to actually inform the public, but to make people angry. Notice the language here with their handout. India has their handout. China has their handout. Looking for money. Hey, Britain, give us some foreign aid. You know, we need to make a fake moon or something like that. Of course, that's not how foreign aid works. Governments may issue aid in the form of money. Now, some of it is money, not all of it is money, and very little, if any, is transferred to central government. It goes to people on the ground. But what the right wing will try to convince you of is that, you know, the Jeremy Hunt or whoever the Chancellor of the Exchequer is at the time will write a check to China, write a check to Afghanistan, write a check to Syria, write a check to China, India, wherever. That's the narrative that they're trying to push, but that's not how it works. It may be in the form of food and supplies, medical assistance, including doctors and supplies, humanitarian aid, such as relief workers. So when there's a humanitarian disaster, a natural disaster, sending workers there, sending aid, food, supplies. This comes out of the foreign aid budget. Training services, including agricultural training, for example, to help local farmers increase crop yields. Healthcare, education, assistance with infrastructure building, sending engineers and technicians to either rebuild collapsed infrastructure or to build new infrastructure, because maybe they don't have the know-how. And activities related to peacekeeping. So this all comes out of the foreign aid budget. Now, the right wing will say we're spending too much on foreign aid. We need to reduce it. But, yeah, because they like punishing poor people. Like they're happy to punish poor people in Britain. They also want to punish poor people in other countries. But the problem with reducing or eliminating the foreign aid budget is that it damages Britain on the world stage. It damages British standing. Like, if you want to be a leader in the world, you should be leading when it comes to foreign aid. Now, foreign aid, as we can see here, helps people. It can also be used as a political tool. For example, during negotiations on a trade deal. If you're increasing your foreign aid budget, you can say, look at what we have done in your country. We have helped you during a natural disaster. We have helped your farmers increase crop yields. We've built hospitals. We've built roads, bridges, things like this. Or we have provided the assistance necessary to achieve that. These are all things that you can use either on the national level or on the local level to help, for example, a business want to do more trade with that country or with that region in the country. These are all things that you can use as a tool. That's the sort of the negative side. The positive side, of course, is that you're helping people. You're helping rebuild the country. Now, some countries will do it because most of their foreign aid budget, maybe go to ex-colonies. Others because they think it's the right thing to do. But what's interesting related to all of this was this article that was posted in the comments below the video, the original video. It says how Britain stole $45 trillion from India. I'll leave a link in the description. Do check it out. I'm not going to go into the details of it. But it says here that in the 1760s, the East India Company took control of the subcontinent and established a monopoly over Indian trade. They basically introduced a tax as well, which they used the money from the tax to buy Indian goods, basically making Indian people pay a tax to sell their goods and then using that money to buy the goods from the Indian producers and then selling those goods on to Europe and to Britain. And this has cost, and this went on for many years, and this cost the Indian economy a massive amount of money. But back to our main point, this is our Fool of the Week, and Patrick Christy here is, of course, our Fool of the Week. See you next time for our next Fool of the Week.